Morning and welcome back. It is now June the 12th. We have had some thunderstorms come through the area starting kind of late Friday afternoon and through Saturday. Not a lot of rain in this area. Once you get south of Lethbridge, there were some areas that got around an inch, but for the most part out here it was between a tenth to a quarter of an inch. So definitely something anyways. But you can see here, it comes far too late for some crops. This barley, for example, is well into stem elongation and will be putting out flag leaf pretty quick because it's heavily stressed and those heads are already moving up the stem. So we're not quite at flag leaf here. Like this would just be the flag leaf starting to poke out here. You can feel that head right here in the stem. So it's already 2/3 of the way up. And you can see this is not a very big crop. When you check the ground here, I mean, it's still dry powder, but that upper, I don't know, inch and a half, we do have some moisture in here now. So that's nice to see, but it's just too little too late right now. Today's field find, I got a crescent wrench, not even in that bad a shape, so probably not even all that old. Well, some of the dryland canola still has very poor emergence, but after that rain on the weekend, hopefully we start to see a few more plants, because it is sure pretty barren at the moment. But you can see just ahead of me here where the pivot starts, we have a pretty good stand going on in there. Here we have some canola getting chewed badly by grasshoppers. Some of these guys are starting to get on the big side here now. And you can see they are absolutely thrashing this canola. They have stripped all the leaves off of it in a patch here outside of the ditch. So we're gonna have to come in here and hit this with some Coragen. Dryland winter wheat, as you can see, is beginning to flower, and you can see just how short and stressed it is. It's still below my knees. It looks not too bad, you know, from the right angle when you're driving down the road, but when you're out walking in it, you can really see how thin it is. It has very limited tillers. A lot of those lower leaves kind of dropping off, blasting off, senescing. So not the greatest, but there will be a crop out of it. Well, now we got more grasshoppers, this time in wheat. These guys are just shredding this relatively young wheat here. Of course, there is a dry pasture right here. You can see how much damage they've done out from the fence line here. So they are real hungry and really intense in this spot. I'm actually finding it really hard to record grasshoppers in a way that you can actually effectively see them. These little guys are so small and they move so fast, it is quite difficult, but like the concentration of them here on the ground is just unreal. Like, the ground is just literally crawling with them. Hopefully you can see that now that I've zoomed in. They're pretty well camouflaged, but in this shot, I mean, there's probably 150 or 200 grasshoppers on the ground here. As soon as I start moving and they start moving, then it just kind of becomes a blur of motion. Well, the last couple of weeks of weather has been pretty hard on the yellow peas as well. You can see these guys have not bushed out or grown taller like they should have. They are staying quite short and compact, and we are in the bud stage. A few of them in the field here and there around the edges are just starting to bloom. Most of them, however, are just in bud stage, and you can see that, I mean, these guys are still 8 to 10 inches tall, so we're still pretty short. It's a good thing the field got rolled. Well, every week I just keep finding more and more grasshoppers moving into new areas. These grasshoppers here are moving out of this kind of pasture slash hayland and moving into the wheat over here. So hopefully now we can get them cut off here in the transition and hit them with some Coragen. Here's another patch of barley with another grasshopper problem. Unfortunately, some of this barley, the last 2 weeks of weather has been absolutely brutal on it. I mean, you can see how thin this barley is and how drought stressed it is, and it's in flag leaf stage. We're a week away from head emergence, and now we got grasshoppers in here. At some point, we got to make a decision of, is this even going to be worth the cost of treatment to come in here with Coragen to protect these headlands, considering that the rest of this field is in pretty much the same condition. The dollar value for harvest just is not going to be there. Irrigation canals are finally full and flowing. This is the main canal going into Kehoe. It looks like it's pretty much running at capacity right now, which is great. As of the last email I saw from LNID, Kehoe Reservoir is down to 65% capacity or less, and even the maximum flow of this canal into the lake will not really increase its level with how much is going out. So it's good to see. I hope we can keep up a flow level like this. I think the allocation downstream of Kehoe has now increased to 3.5 inches, but even still, that is very little water for potatoes and corn and other specialty crops. There's just no end to the grasshoppers today. They're hitting the edge of this dryland canola field here pretty hard, doing some pretty good chewing in here. So, guess what we're going to be coming in here with? Probably another pass of Coragen. The ground here is literally just moving with these little grasshoppers migrating out of the pasture into this irrigated durum field. As you can see, this pasture that these grasshoppers are migrating out of, there is very little of anything green left for them to eat. Between them and the sheep that are in here, they have completely eradicated all green growth. Well, the irrigated winter wheat's looking pretty good this week. It is starting to flower. We're in full head emergence now. There is a little bit of powdery mildew down in the lower bit of the canopy, and that's not unusual. That can be controlled by most fungicides on the market. This year it doesn't seem to be quite so bad because we've been very low humidity, very low water in general, even on irrigation here. A lot of this wheat has received maybe half of what it normally would as irrigation water. So definitely a very reduced incidence of disease this year, especially with flag leaf diseases. Some of the dryland wheat up by Carmen Gay has really taken a beating even compared to last week. You can see a lot of those lower leaves are really starting to drop off as we're moving into the flag leaf stage. You can see how big this plant is here, and it's already starting to push out flag leaf. You can just start to see even a couple awns even starting to poke out here. So, I mean, that's only really a hand span tall, and we're in awn emergence with the flag leaf out. So it is very heavily stressed, probably not going to amount to a whole lot, unfortunately. Stella, are you trying to steal the scene again? So this is pretty much the textbook definition of crop burning up on you. We're pretty much in a insurance kind of situation at this point, I'm afraid. Well, I'm not gonna lie, the last couple of days have been pretty depressing looking at a lot of these crops. We really kind of hit a milestone there last week. That long without rain in 30-degree temperatures with wind has really taken a real kick into our crops here on the dry land. So it's not looking great on a lot of these acres. Once again, we have thunderstorms in the forecast for pretty much every night this week. Remains to be seen whether we actually get anything. So far, there's been nothing. I don't really see anything evolving out to the west, but yeah, we'll see. Here's how barley should look this time of the year. This stuff is almost knee-high. It has been sprayed with a growth regulator, and we are moving into the boot stage. You can see everything is nice and green and healthy. There's, little to no senescence on those lower leaves. All of our tillers are still there. They're not aborting off. Things are looking really good in here, and due to the low humidity and low rainfall, even though this is irrigated, there is very little sign of any disease in here. Oh, potentially today the weather forecast might actually get it right. We have some interesting clouds coming out of the west and kind of blowing to the north of us here, so hopefully they come a little farther over this way because we could sure use the rain. Other than that, this winter wheat is looking pretty nice. We are pretty much in the flowering stage in here right now. This is on side roll irrigation, but we are starting to see a little bit of disease starting to show up. Looks like we might have an incidence of mosaic beginning to show up in some of this wheat. Well, it looks like the clouds are starting to close in. I can hear a little bit of thunder rumbling here and there, and I'm getting picture reports from some of my customers over by Fort McLeod that there's some pretty heavy, although small, hail. Just got an emergency alert for tornado warning a few minutes ago, and I looked to the north, and what do you know, there's a funnel cloud. So it's already starting to break up. You can't see it very well. It took me too long to pull over and find a good spot to take a video, but there it is. And this would be north and east from Picture Butte. Well, I think the drought is officially over on some of these fields, and the hail apocalypse has begun. So it seems like it's mostly some pretty small stuff, but it came down really intense. There's just absolutely inches of it here. Just completely thrashed the crop, but let's take a look. Well, you can see here some of this corn is in pretty rough shape, depending on where the growing point was down in the stalk here, because this was probably 4 or 5 leaf. If the growing point was low enough, it should be okay. but it might be completely thrashed. It's going to take a few days of good weather for us to be able to tell whether it's going to be, you know, death or not. Well, that's certainly one way to get your grasshoppers under control. 3 inches of hail should do it. This poor wheat or barley crop is completely shredded in here as well. Gotta dig it out from under the ice here. See it completely pulverized. It'd be interesting to see what happens in here in the next week. Well, this poor field of young canola sure got the snot kicked out of it in the hail. It is mostly all melted now. This is about, I don't know, hour and a half or so after the hail event occurred. So you can see this canola just got beaten up pretty bad. So this was relatively young canola. It was mostly 2 to 4 leaf. So hopefully if it recovers, it won't have a lot to catch up on really. But it's hard to say how well the growing point has survived so far. It generally takes at least a week to be able to tell how much of it is going to survive or not. It's very nice and green down in this McGrath area. You can see this canola field is looking just absolutely gorgeous. Moisture conditions have been a little bit better down here compared to the rest of my dryland area. And we did escape the hail and the tornadoes and the heavy rainfall and everything that hit my other area yesterday. So things here are looking pretty good at the moment. At least until we get another plague. I think all I'm about left to find this week is frogs. Back here in the peas with the fungal rings, and things look still very much the same. The peas have grown significantly in the last week, but you can still clearly see the outline of these rings. And once you dig down in the ground, you can still see we have a huge quantity of mycelium down there, but there's still no above ground fruiting bodies to identify at this time. Of course, you get a little bit of moisture and somebody has to come out and do donuts in the lentils. Always nice to see. Some people just have no respect at all. Back to the Nobleford area where we got the hail yesterday. This particular field didn't actually get any hail, but this young canola, it still got beaten and battered up a little bit just by the violence of the rain, but we should get a lot better emergence and have a much better looking crop in here in about a week. But we now have some pretty intense smoke blowing in from the northwest, and it smells like a wet campfire at the moment. Back to the cornfield that had all the hail earlier. Now that the hail has melted, it's a little easier to see the corn, and there is not a whole lot left, to be honest. The far part of the quarter section over there is still green, but it is still thrashed pretty well. But this area here is pretty much ground off to almost nothing. So you can see a lot of these have been chewed right down almost to the ground, and then they sat in freezing hail for probably at least a couple hours. So right now, I don't see any signs of regrowth yet, but you know, we're only really 2 days post hail, so it's still early to determine yet. There is a possibility that that growing point was still low enough that it will come through, but it'll definitely be delayed. Well, after doing a bit of a biopsy on this one corn plant that was chopped off here, you can actually see right by my thumbnail there is actually the tassel. So it is pretty much completely undeveloped right down by the crown. So it is still safe and fine down near the bottom of the plant. It just remains to be seen whether we get enough regrowth for it to actually do anything. Well, a few days post hail in this young canola, and you can see we definitely are going to have some survivors here. There's already actually signs of some new growth, like this little guy right here. So I think in here, I mean, it's definitely going to be delayed. Is it going to knock yield back? Yeah, probably, but it'll still be a stand in here after all. And that'll be it for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.